A silence has hit Tampa Bay's training camp, and it's the kind of silence that only follows heartbreak. Just days ago, David Walker, a rookie linebacker with huge upside, was being talked about as one of the future leaders of this new-look Buccaneers defense. A fourth-round pick out of Central Arkansas, Walker brought size, explosiveness, and an underdog mentality that instantly connected with fans and coaches alike. He wasn't just another camp body, he was rising. He was ready to fight for a role. But now, that journey has been put on hold before it ever really began. In just his second NFL practice, David Walker suffered a torn ACL, a devastating injury that will force him to miss the entire 2025 season. One minute, he was chasing quarterbacks. The next, he was on the ground. Just like that, his rookie year is over. This isn't just another injury. This is a gut punch. Because Walker wasn't just talented, he was needed. The Bucs have been searching for young pass rushing depth ever since Shaq Barrett's production dipped and Jason Pierre-Paul moved on. Tampa Bay's playoff push fizzled last year, and fixing the edge was one of the offseason's top priorities. Walker was expected to be part of that solution. Coaches praised his motor. Teammates respected his intensity. In college, he was the emotional leader of Central Arkansas's defense, and the Bucs believed he could grow into a similar role in Tampa. And now, he's on the sideline, watching. It's the same brutal story that's haunted this team before. Just think back to Ryan Jensen's knee injury, the one that ended his career. Different positions, different timelines, but the same cruel pattern. The Bucs have been bitten by the injury bug too many times. And now, before the real hitting even starts, they've lost a player they were counting on. The silver lining? Hassan Reddick is still standing tall. The veteran edge rusher is not just productive, he's relentless. He'll lead the group. But he can't do it alone. With Shaq Barrett no longer on the roster and the old guard gone, Tampa needs young guys to rise fast. Yaya Diaby, the second-year pass rusher, is expected to be the centerpiece now. He's got the size, the burst, and the opportunity. But this injury to Walker puts even more pressure on him, and on the rest of this thin-edge rotation. Because here's the reality. You don't win in today's NFL without a pass rush. And right now, the Bucs just lost a key part of theirs. Bucs Nation, how big of a blow is this to the defense? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in our pass rush without David Walker this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let us know who you think needs to step up the most now. When a player like David Walker goes down, it's not just a name off the roster. It creates a ripple. It changes the tone in the locker room, the urgency in practice, and the pressure on the rest of the team. Because now, every remaining pass rusher in that room just felt the weight on their shoulders get heavier. There's no young star in the making behind them anymore. There's no extra spark waiting to rotate in. The safety net is gone. And that's why the front office might not sit still for long. There's already quiet talk inside the building. Maybe it's time to hit the free agency market. The team knows the need is real, and with a thin rotation and more reps to fill, they might have no choice. One name that keeps popping up, Takkarist McKinley, a familiar face who's still floating in free agency. He's not far away either, reportedly working out in Jacksonville, his hometown. He hasn't made any moves yet, but the dots are there to connect. If the Bucs want experience, fire, and someone who knows how to pressure the QB, that call might be coming soon. So what does the head coach think? Todd Bowles didn't sugarcoat it. We were counting on him to do a lot of things. But he also made it clear, this is about how the team responds now. The plan is to treat Walker's lost rookie year as a redshirt season, a college-style term meaning he'll still learn, absorb, and develop just from the sideline. He'll be in every meeting. He'll watch every rep. He'll take in the mental side of the game while his body heals. And that might sound small, but it matters. This team is different. This Bucs locker room has become one of the most unselfish and supportive groups we've seen in years. There's real leadership here. There's real care. Look at Chris Godwin. He's battled back from a brutal ACL injury and is still working through lingering issues now. Guys like him can show Walker the way. They can tell him, this isn't the end. It's just a hard beginning. And then there's Hassan Reddick, another player with something to prove. People questioned his attitude when he left the Jets. They said he was difficult, that he didn't want to practice. Now, he's on a one-year prove-it deal, and the motivation is real. We've seen this before. Baker Mayfield was written off too. Then he came to Tampa, bet on himself, and won the starting job. Maybe Hassan Reddick is next. Maybe this pass rush still has a spark waiting to catch fire. But one thing's for sure, the pressure is on. What should the Bucs do now, fans? Should they dip into free agency for a pass rusher or trust the guys already in the room? Drop your answer in the comments. Who would you call if you were in the GM's chair? And how much pressure do you think is on Reddick now to lead this group? Let's hear it. Sound off below. There are moments in football that hit harder than any tackle. And what happened to rookie edge rusher Chris Braswell-Walker? That was one of them. Day 2 of training camp was supposed to be another step in his rise. But instead, it became a devastating turning point. A season-ending injury. Just like that, the journey pauses before it truly begins. But let me tell you something, this locker room, it's built different. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't just a team anymore, they're a brotherhood. And that's what Walker's about to learn firsthand. Veterans like Chris Godwin, who knows the agony of a torn ACL, are already rallying around him. They've been where Walker is. They've felt the loneliness of the sidelines. But they also know the power of support, of mental reps, of staying locked in even when your body isn't ready. Todd Bowles put it plainly, we were counting on him. But now it's time for others to step up. Walker will use this as a redshirt year. No pads, no sacks, just watching, learning, growing, mentally preparing for the moment he finally gets to unleash the beast. And that's where the heartbreak hits hardest, because they believed in him. Behind the scenes, the coaching staff, not just Bowles and Jason Licht, but the whole defensive staff, loved this kid from Central Arkansas. A small school pass rusher with a giant chip on his shoulder. The kind of guy you find when you're not looking for flash, you're looking for fighters. They had a plan. Rotate him in with Yaya Diaby and Hassan Reddick. Let him feast off the edge. Let him bring chaos. And now, that plan waits. It's not over, but the clock resets. He's got a full year to rehab with the best trainers in the world. And we'll be waiting, because when Walker returns, he'll be stronger, smarter, and even more determined. But that doesn't fix the right now. Right now, the Bucs only have 4 true pass rushers in the room. That's not enough. Pass rushing isn't just important, it's essential. If you can't get to the quarterback with 4, you're in trouble. You leave your secondary exposed. You give up the big plays, and we've lived through that nightmare before. That's why it's time for action. Tampa still has cap space. And whether it's through free agency or a surprise camp cut, this roster needs another edge rusher, not just for competition, but for survival. Losing Walker hurts, there's no sugarcoating that. But this team has lived the next man up mentality for years. And now that he's headed to IR, it opens the door for someone else to fight their way onto this roster. This defense has talent, but talent without depth is a risk. So how do you feel about it, Bucs Nation? Should we go sign someone new? Or do you trust the guys already in the building to hold the line? Sound off in the comments and let your voice be heard. And before we close, a bit of good news. Baker Mayfield just got a vote of confidence. No full extension yet, but the Bucs guaranteed $30 million for him in 2026. That's not just money, that's respect. After the season he had in 2024, he earned it. The future is still bright, but the path forward just got a little more complicated. Baker Mayfield is on fire right now, and the Buccaneers are finally showing it with their wallet. Training camp has only just begun, and already Baker is looking sharp, confident, in control, and the organization is loving what they're seeing. The footwork, the timing, the leadership, it's all clicking. So what did they do? They just handed Baker Mayfield $30 million in guaranteed money for the 2026 season. That wasn't part of his deal before, but now it is. That's a loud, clear message from the front office. You're our guy. This isn't just a paycheck. It's a public statement, one that screams trust. The Buccaneers believe in Baker. They believe in the version of him that showed up in 2024, fought like hell, and gave this team everything he had. Now, they're locking in their franchise QB not just with words, but with money. And the best part? It's not just one-sided. Baker's buying in too. You can feel it on the field. The communication, the chemistry, the leadership, it all feels real. He's not just playing to stay. He's playing to lead. Long term. This is the kind of healthy, honest, two-way relationship every NFL team dreams of with their quarterback. Baker knows he has their trust. And now the Bucs are saying loud and clear, we've got your back. After all the ups and downs of his career, Baker's finally found a place where he's respected, believed in, and surrounded by teammates who'll go to war for him. The locker room feels it. The fans feel it. And now, the contract reflects it. It's a breath of fresh air, especially on a day that started with some tough injury news. But ending it with hope? That's the kind of emotional balance this team needs. Pain and perseverance. Loss and loyalty. That's football. Now it's your turn. What's your confidence level in Baker Mayfield right now? 1 to 10, drop it in the comments. And how do you feel about the direction this team is headed in?